Hi, how's it going everyone? Welcome to Rads. Let's talk Nottingham Forest in the transfer window. Plenty of rumours, not so much confirmed deals. In fact, there's literally no confirmed deals still in the last week. But there's one in particular that's very close to happening, seemingly, according to very strong sources. So let's talk about it. Please hit the like button, subscribe to Rads if you know there's plenty of content on the way. Let's try and get to 5,000 subscribers as soon as possible. And let's talk about all these transfers, shall we? Potential transfers. Before I talk about any rumours though, let's just take a look at the chart, as I do every week. It's very professional in my opinion. So honestly, there's not really much to actually talk about that I've added to this, apart from Alex Mighton returning from his loan at Sheffield Wednesday. Not because he's been ripping up trees, doing unbelievable, outstanding. He needs to be playing in the Premier League. He actually wasn't doing very well at all, so that's why he got recalled. But he's back, and he was on the bench at the weekend, which is a bit of a concern. I like Mike, and I've backed him for a long time, but I do agree with Wednesday fans. From what I could tell, they didn't like him because he was too lightweight, and it just didn't fit their system, which he didn't, because Wednesday, from what I've been told, do play with wing backs, and that doesn't really suit a team that plays with wingers. So basically, they didn't play wingers, so he was never really going to fare that well. However, he didn't do very well in League One, so that's still a concern. So it does highlight that we do need to sign a winger or just another forward. But other than that, that's the only thing I've added to this team. However, come next week, they could very well be a big addition to this team. Roughly here, in this area of the pitch. Not to replace Remo Freuler at all, but one for the future, and someone that could come straight into this team and link up very well with Gustavo Scarpa. This being his ex-Palmeiras teammate, Danilo. 21 years of age, defensive midfielder, a potential 18 million deal in terms of a price tag as reported by Fabrizio Romero, so I'm not going to argue with him because he seems to know what he's doing. And this would be, honestly, I'm really excited for this one. I don't know much about him at all. I am going to do a video where I do look a lot more in depth at his career and what he might offer to Forest, so stay tuned for that. However, the fact that he's 21, been rumoured for that amount of money, he was linked with Arsenal in the summer. I've seen some comparisons to N'Golo Kante, so that's a pretty bloody good player to be compared to. I mean, he is a defensive midfielder, so he would be, but still, this could be huge. It could be huge for Scarpa's development, it could be huge for his development, and I also think it could be huge for Remo Freuler. Not because he's going to get pushed out of the team. I do not think Freuler's going to get dropped at all. I think Freuler's been very underrated this season, and he's been playing out of position. He's been playing as a defensive midfielder most of the time. But if we look at how he played for Switzerland at the World Cup, he played further up the pitch. He played not as an attacking midfielder, but he just played as someone that could get at the pitch a bit more. And he got an assist, essentially. Not an assist, but he created a goal. He put the ball into the area for their goal against Cameroon, and he also scored against Serbia. Freuler was excellent at the World Cup, purely because he was playing further up the pitch. So honestly, if we can get Danilo in and play him behind Yatesy and Freuler, that could be phenomenal. Honestly, I would love to see that. And this would be rather bad news for Duarte, because Duarte, he's not a long-term option. He's in his 30s, and he was doing well whenever he played. But I do think, particularly since Duarte's injury, we've seen that Freuler should really be playing further with the pitch. And I don't think we should at all write off Cole back. And O'Brien, I still really like him, but I don't really know what the future holds for him at this stage. And obviously we can't even count Arthur and Caffrey because they're just irrelevant, particularly Harry Arthur. One more thing on Danilo, apparently his medical is being done imminently, so he should be announced very, very soon. Could even be announced by the time you see this video. So let's stay tuned for that one. Very exciting times when it comes to Danilo. Now this guy, who we're also being linked with, would be incredibly ambitious from Forest, but that doesn't make any surprises to anyone, does it? But this guy, he is a midfielder, but he can also play on the right wing. But I don't really know why we'd need him, if I'm entirely honest, with all of our options, especially Scarpa and Gibbs White. And his name is
Nicolo Zaniolo.
That. Nicolo Zaniolo. I just thought I'd get good old Google Translate out just to confirm things. An 11-cap Italian international, 13 appearances this season with 1 goal as Roma are currently 7th in the Serie A. He has been a really highly rated player over his career, but with injuries, that has held him back. He won the Conference League last year with Roma, but he has struggled for game time this season. He has also been linked with Spurs, Newcastle, West Ham, and looking at transfer marks, also Real Madrid. So even though he's struggling, seemingly, he's being linked with arguably the biggest club in the world. So I don't know how they're going to compete, quite frankly, with those kind of teams, especially Newcastle and Spurs. It's interesting that he's linked with West Ham, though. That does kind of give me a bit of hope that we could get him. But I don't really know why we need him. I'm not going to reject him because he's an excellent player. I have actually seen him play before. I'm not a plastic in the slightest, but I went to a Leicester match last season when they played Roma, and he would have played in that game. And I didn't really watch him that closely at all because I wouldn't, but I would have actually seen him play without realising. 23 years of age as well. Very exciting player. But not sure how he'd fit in, if I'm entirely honest. But we'll see. But we are linked with some natural wingers. This guy, Arnaut Danjuma. Mate, get this done, please. This guy is a baller. It's as simple as that. No other words for it. Villarreal winger/striker. He would solve a big problem in terms of not having a number 9. I've always seen him more as a winger, but he's been playing more often than not down the middle this season for Villarreal. He's got 17 appearances this season and 6 goals. Premier League experience. He's a rather fast, tricky winger, really. Likes to take on his man. Obviously, he used to play for Bournemouth in the Championship and in the Premier League. He was absolutely brilliant for them. Last season, he played a big part in Villarreal's run to the Champions League semi-finals. So, yeah, big player. Big player. 25. It may be a loan, which is not what we really want. But we need another forward. And if he can play in both positions, down the middle and on the wings, then I'll be very happy with this. Old club Bournemouth as well as Everton also interested. And I'm not being big-headed, but I really think we're the most ambitious club of those three. Of those two, I should say. But, yeah, there's a few more rumours in. Ben Brereton Diaz, I mentioned this last week, could be still coming into Forest. There's not really much I need to say that I didn't say last week, but I do think it's worth mentioning, being talking about the wings. He could still be coming into Forest. Potentially, we could now be doing a deal with Blackburn where Dennis goes the other way. That Dennis Sarr deal is still on the cards, apparently. But Dennis, if he is going to leave to another English club, it would have to be probably I think it would have to be a swap deal, wouldn't it? But then again, I don't know how that would work. In fact, that couldn't work, could it? Because he's already played for 2 clubs. So I don't really know how that would work. But that's what we're hearing, potentially. Only I don't think that's going to happen, in my opinion. One more winger that we're being linked with is Tete, currently on loan at Lyon, 22 years of age, right winger, unknown what the transfer fee would be. But he's got 6 goals and 3 assists this season in 17 games at Lyon on loan from Shakhtar Donetsk. He has played 108 games for Donetsk and scored 31 goals. He left this season because of obviously the situation in Ukraine, so he's had to go over and play in France, and he's doing very well in France. So I'm not too aware of him, if I'm entirely honest. Probably would fit better than someone like Zaniolo or even Brereton. I think it would be more ambitious to sign Tete, but I'd be lying if I said I knew much about him. But we are currently being linked with him. I think it's a bit more unlikely than likely that this happens based off just what we're hearing from the media. One more rumour in, Mario Hermoso from Atletico Madrid, a centre-back, 27. This would be a loan, so I wouldn't be too happy with that, if I'm entirely honest, especially having Lodi on loan from them as well. Can I just say, though, I've been doing these videos about transfers since, this is the 3rd season I've been doing transfer roundups during the transfer window, and I've gone from being really excited about Luke Freeman. That's Luke Freeman to Brazilian internationals and Atletico Madrid centre-backs. We've come a long way, everyone. We really have. Hermoso got a huge amount of experience, played at the top level for a long time. Centre-back is an area that we need to improve. I do think, looking at the squad depth chart, obviously Wall, I think he's proven that he's more than good enough still after being taken out of the team for a bit. Niakate, who knows when he's going to be fit. And I think McKenna and Bolly, particularly Bolly, have proven their worth the last couple of games. But we could still do with another centre-back. If we do get Hermoso, I don't really know what the future holds for Steve Cook. And obviously Mbiso, yeah, he's probably going to get loaned out, isn't he? But getting in another centre-back, honestly, it is probably quite a crucial area of the pitch we need to improve. But Hermoso, more importantly, he's only played 4 games this season in the league, 10 times overall, one full 90 minutes in the league against Celta de Vigo. Other than that, he has scored in the Champions League, actually, against Porto off the bench. So he'd bring plenty of pedigree. But I don't know. I don't know whether I want him because he'd be alone, wouldn't he? And I just kind of feel like that's short-term thinking. And then we'd have 3 players on loan, all in the defence. I wouldn't be too fussed when it comes to that. I want him permanently. It's a big name to be linked to. Not sure how likely it is, though. In terms of rumours out, I mentioned already Dennis. There could be a deal with Blackburn, could be a deal with Watford to go back there. He's still being linked with a move out, but not really much I can add to that. The only other deal that I'm seeing in terms of rumours out is Hwang, the lad that we signed from Bordeaux in the summer, then loaned to Olympiacos, of course. He's not scored in 11 games for Olympiacos, and currently he's getting MLS interest from Atlanta United and Minnesota United. Minnesota were interested in signing Hwang in the summer, so it's no surprise to see them interested in him again. And it's no surprise to see American clubs interested in Hwang because he can't play for another European club now this season because he's already played for Bordeaux. And of course he's played for Olympiacos, so he couldn't even come back to Forest. Not that that's going to happen because he was never signed for Forest, was he? 30 years of age, of course, this will be a permanent deal. But other than that, there's not really much to talk about in terms of anything pressing in the transfer market the last week. Don't really see the deals for O'Brien, Colback and Surridge really happening. I think they've proven in the last week that they're still good enough. But yeah, anything else that happens, of course, I'll be talking about it right here on the channel. I'm going to be doing a video in depth about Danilo in the near future. And for the rest of the window, I'll be doing these roundups. And I am considering, after the transfer window closes, doing like something in place of this video. Because I do like having this like little roundup each week, even if it's not necessarily about transfers. So stay tuned for that. I think it could be something that could be quite good. So yeah. Stay tuned, everyone. Lots coming up on the channel. And I'll see you all very soon. Hit the like button. Subscribe to Rads if you know. And I'll see you very soon, everyone, for another video. Up the Rads.